Oh my gosh. What do we have here? Well, let's take a look. Yes. Looks like the lightest things you ever saw in your life. I mean, that's literally like probably, oh, I don't know. Oh, 4 ounces. I mean, this right here is probably 10 to 12. The rubber is probably the heaviest part. That is literally nothing. Could be 12, just spread out over such a far space. Now this is made out of iron, so that's heavy. But all this aluminum, we have 8, count them, 8 control arms, 2 outer tie rod ends, 2 sway bar end leaks, and a whole bag of goodies. Nothing's labeled, so this will be fun. So what are we doing? Well, it's come time. The A4 is getting all new control arms in the front end, as well as sway bar end leaks and outer tie rod ends, which, you know, I mean, the steering rack in this car is already shot, but whatever. So anyway, that's what she's getting. Don't know how much video I'm going to shoot, because typical with any time I do anything on a car, I do a little intro video, and then I record when I'm done, because it's like I get distracted working, because, you know, I'm working. So anyway, we're going to get cracking on getting these control arms done. So God decided to grace us with a blue sky. It's like 50 degrees, which in Idaho in March is nice. I'll take it. Got a new battery coming for the A4 as well. This one only likes to hold a charge for a couple hours. I mean, you know, it's in the summertime, it's probably fine, but here in the winter, it just doesn't have the cranking amps that you want. I bought a Group 94 battery, 94R, and because there's like multiple kind of holes on the battery bracket, on the battery mount for different size batteries, and this is a Group 48 battery, and I was like, oh well, you know, there's so many different slots, and this car is spec'd for either a Group 48 or a Group 94, and so I was like, there's like 3 different slots for the bracket. So I was like, oh, it's got a 48 in it. The car specs a 94. It'll just use that outermost bolt hole. Cool. I ordered the 94. Yeah, no, the 48 uses the outermost bolt hole. Let's see. That's the last bolt hole. And then there's about 2 more going that way. So that 94 is probably going to sit at the very edge of this battery bracket. I don't think I have to remove the bracket or anything. If so, it's only that 10 there, or no, it's a 12. At 12, and there's another 12 that way, and you can just remove the whole bracket. But I don't think I'll have to do that. I think it'll just fit just to the edge. It's 1.5 inches wider than this. I don't think it'll be a problem. As a matter of fact, if you remove the bracket, you can get another 1/2 inch here. Which would give you about 2 inches here. You could probably almost fit an H8 battery in here from like a Mercedes, which would be like 1200 cold cranking amps, or hot cranking amps. Probably be like 950 cold cranking amps. But this one's 680 and 835. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's get some control arms done. All right, so I'm moving to Nevada because, oh, I can't take it. What can I take, you ask? Just all rusted. All rust. all rust. I have to soak the wheel lugs because I broke them loose with the breaker bar. Yeah, that's just everything. Absolutely everything. It's just rusty crusty. Oh, while we're in here doing our inspection, these uppers don't look too bad. The tie rod and boot, as far as boots are concerned, play. Yeah, I mean, I would need some channel locks to really kind of grab on to some of the stuff and really give it a good shake, but really it's the lowers. Oh, that nice transmission brace. Look at that, baby. I mean, the car has these holes from the factory. I mean, it's like, I think that's LS4 shit. It's all used for the S4, but I think it's ECS makes that bar. Transmission support. Even the transmission has the holes for the bolts, but there's just nothing there, so they just make a kit that just basically just strengthens the driveline. Anyway, back on the project here. Let's see if we can get a look at these. You can see just how shot these sway bar end links are. I mean, look at that. Nothing left. The rubbers on the control arms, they're not terrible, but they're old. Shock rubbers are shot. Those lowers don't look too bad. It's the same story on the other side. Look at that oil leak. Come on, dude. I can't find where it's coming from. It's like the phantom oil leak. It's just, look at that, everywhere. All over everything. And it's like non-existent. Like, I cannot find where it's coming from. It's really frustrating. This engine had no oil leaks, and then I put the engine in the car, and then it just started leaking oil everywhere. The only thing I could think is it's the valve cover gasket, because it does need to be replaced, but I mean, sweet Jesus. Anyway, back on the point. Yeah, let's get crack-a-lackin'. Oh! So, I don't know who the last person to work on this was, but they done failed. They took the strut assembly out and did the control arms, which is the way you're supposed to do it. But if you put the bolts in from the back side here and here, you don't have to take these out. Wah wah. So now I'm either unbolting the assembly and dropping the assembly. I might try to get a grinder in here and just cut it off and just whack it out the other side. Maybe I'll try that. That beats the hell out of trying to undo this whole assembly, but put the bolts in from this side. It's not rocket science. Look at all this room you have here. I mean, it's like 6 inches. Jeepers. Anyway, oh yeah, and just like the all-road, if you remember TCR, yeah, this was just so much fun. I'm moving to Nevada. Anyway, yes sir, yes ma'am. Well, here we are, 2.5 hours later. Just got done. New uppers, new lowers, new sway bar end links, new outer tie rod end. Yeah, car's a rusty mess. Kicked my ass. I thought I'd have the whole car done in 6 hours. It's been 4 hours on just this one side. It's supposed to snow for the next couple days, so I'm just gonna pack up. Well, all I gotta do is finish locking down the bushings. I got her jacked up and in position. I just gotta lock the bushings down. Gotta reclip all the fuel lines here. I had to drop the fuel lines to make room for this bolt when it comes out. Oh, don't drop the phone there, dummy. And I packed all the the bushing stiffeners. Now, from what I understand, the sport model cars have those wedges inside the bushings, and the non-sport cars don't. So, you know, obviously, you know, fucks off suspension on a fun car. So, you know, I took the time to pop all those out and pop them into these, but you know, it was kind of a nightmare because these are like Ching Chong China control arms. Yeah, and I ended up cutting that bolt off. You can kind of see I nicked the car a bit, but I cut it off, whacked it out, and then I just put the new bolt in the correct direction. That way you can just change control arms in the car without having to remove the entire strut assembly out of the car. Like, who thought that's a good idea? Anyway, I'm gonna slap her together and put it all, and then go clean up and go inside because I don't want to snow blowing under the car, you know, like all that hardware there and everything. So anyway, I'm gonna clean her up and bolt those down and clean it up. All right, weekend number 2. Gonna do the driver's side of the A4 today. Driver's side, front driver, control arms. But we got a toy. We got a new toy for it. $14.30 and $8.40. So the car originally got me yelling over the damn compressor. Excuse you. So the car originally had a Group 48 battery in it. And so I got a Group 94 battery for it. Because when I went to get a battery for the car, it was like, oh, is it a 48 or a 94? And I was like, you know, I had no idea. So I went ahead and got the 94 because I was like, well, you know, if the car can take a 94, we're going to look at the 94. And yeah, I came out here and looked. I just got done blowing all of this out. It's full of leaves. Look at that rust. Yep, that's been happening for some time. Anyway, so here's a battery tray. Now what I noticed when the Group 48 battery was in here, you know, you slot it in, and then you put your mount, you know, there. So anyways, I noticed there was, yeah, a few different slots, right, to put the mount. And I was like, oh, with that Group 48 in, it's probably here, and the Group 94 sits here. That's what my logic was. And then I came out and I looked, I was like, oh no, the Group 48 goes here. So I might end up pulling this bracket off to make it fit. I took a measurement and it's supposed to fit. So I mean, we're gonna find out, but let's see. Well, I wish I could say I was surprised, but as long as I've been alive and as much shit as I've seen in my life, nothing surprises me anymore. Look at that. It's sitting in the battery slot. You can kind of see it there. It's actually, yeah, grooved in. And on this side, see, there's no room for a mount, but the car does fit a 94R. So there's absolutely no room. Trust me, even clearing the ground wire here was quite a feat. And the positive wire we can hook back up now. I kind of pulled it off this little thing here to make some room, but yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just gonna get that reattached down here and we'll be good. I can't believe it fit. So it should be good for about 10-15 years. Won't even have to think about a battery for this thing. She's hooked up now. I mean, you know, I've seen bad inner tie rods before, but woo! Round and round, where she goes, nobody knows. Floppy jalopy, floppy jalopy. All right. Brand new control arms. Brand new control arms. The old ones really weren't that bad. But it was the sway bar end links that you see there. Those were really bad. I mean, look what was left. I can't find the one for the driver's side, but it was equally as bad. Yeah, the end links were completely gone. So yeah, got that all handled. Inner and outer tie rod ends as well. Just the old electrical tape and clamp scenario there. Brand new control arms. You know, it's like Christmas. You just know the car's gonna drive fantastic for, you know, at least another 100,000 miles. Yeah, these were factory, like, need to focus. You know, they really weren't that bad. That takes quite a bit of force. I'm not barely pushing. I'm giving it a bit. Snaps right back. On the bushing side, on the camera it looks worse than it is. It looks like two giant cuts. It's really not. It's just kind of cracks. It looks way worse on the camera than in real life. Real life, it's just light cracking. It was definitely time, but they're not bad. It was just the tie rod ends. Steering rack and drive shaft from the Mercedes. Anyway, what we got next? We've got window regulator. That's how the window's being held up currently. Just threw some bungee cords in there. But yeah, window regulator's there. But we'll cross that bridge next time. Oops. Let's try that again. Put that in there. And there we go. Yep, but she is good to go. At the hospital in Idaho. What'd they bring me? Pork, potato, sweet potato, angel food cake with strawberries, a glass of milk, and a V8. It's a very Idaho diet.